Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Dr. Chris Featherstone here for yet another episode of UnSKripted. Listen, it's Tuesday nights. You know what that means. I have some of the biggest, the baddest, the best wrestlers of today and yesteryear, and tonight is no different. Oh, man, look. So I've had this guy on my Pancakes and Power Slam show a couple of times before. And a few years ago, we used to tweet about the Chicago Bulls. We're both Chicago Bulls fans. And man, just a cool dude. And I always wanted to interview him. So I interviewed him several years ago. And I told him a story during the show. And I'm going to say it again so I can refresh his memory, but it could be new to some of y'all. So when I was in high school during the Attitude Era, and the frog splash of this guy was something that I probably shouldn't have known in high school because I used it in very bad ways. But at the same time, thankfully, I didn't get in trouble for it. But this is what I did, and this is a shoot. So I was a sports guy, so I played sports all throughout high school, and so in the bleachers, I played basketball too. So you would push all the bleachers to the wall, and there would be a bleacher that's on the very top. So we're talking probably 8 feet high, 7 feet high, something like that. And so basically what I would do is there was a big crash pad in my high school, and I was probably a sophomore. I was like a kingpin even as a sophomore, because seniors was like the people. You would get you would kind of get hazed if you weren't upperclassmen, is what they were called. If you were an underclassman, you kind of get hazed in several ways. But I had a way to get in with the upperclassmen, and what I would do is I would have a couple upperclassmen that would be like my henchmen. So I would climb up to the very top of the bleachers, and I would have I would have them bring in a crash pad, and I would look and scowl around the gym and look at people, and I would give them the nod, and I would have a few upperclassmen grab them, lay them out on the crash pad, and I was up there ready in my post, and I would do one of these things and just a full tuck in, bam, just a frog splash galore, ladies and gentlemen. So without further ado, thank you for this influence. D'Lo Brown, how are you tonight, my man?
What's going on, my man? How you doing? And I feel sorry for those kids who got frog splashed. I remember that story well, and man, I feel sorry.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I have no idea where they are nowadays, but hey, they've been impacted by me. So
You better not say anything more because statute of limitations might not have run out on them.
that's true. That's true. That's assault.
That
So
is assault.
how are things with you, man?
Man, I can't complain. Doing well. Loving life. Just enjoying the wrestling business. I mean, that's all I can say is I'm fortunate enough to have a job where I've been involved with wrestling for almost 30 years now. And
Wow.
who could have imagined that as a kid, 11 years old, saying I want to do that for my life. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
one of those kids who said I want to do that and ended up doing it.
Yes, indeed. I remember you when you were in Smoky Mountain for a while, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was like kind of where you kind of got in the business, really, like as far as just known and things like that, as far as because you were part of because they had like a nation style
It was
deal.
they were called the Gangsters, and it
The
was
gangsters,
New
yeah, yeah,
Jack and
yeah,
Mustafa.
and Mustafa, yeah. So you
Yeah.
were involved with the gangsters, and that was interesting. How did you get involved in that again with Cornette?
Well, simple story. Balls Mahoney, Boo Bradley had gotten hired to go to Smoky Mountain to do the Boo Bradley gimmick.
Hmm.
Unfortunately for Balls, he didn't have a driver's license. So he had come into the school one day and said, "Hey, can anyone drive me to Tennessee?" And before he even got the word Tennessee out, I was raising my hand and said, "I'm taking you down there." And because of that, driving him down, Cornette, he worked it out with Cornette where I would get 8 minutes of a dark match.
Hmm.
And I got 8 minutes of a dark match, and I had my match. And apparently, Corny saw something in me because I was working there full time the next month.
Wow,
And
fantastic.
New Jack had saw me too, and was like, let's have him in the Gangsters. So they put me in the Gangsters, and I was the henchman.
Nice. Yeah, I remember seeing some promos that were very New Jack always cut edgy promos, but I remember watching some Smoky Mountain stuff. I was like, "Ooh, that would be that would be accepted nowadays."
God bless him and rest his soul. But there were some times Jack would say stuff, and I would look around and go, "Ooh, that's hot.
Yeah,
That's some heat there."
Yes, indeed.
So yeah, Jack had the gift of gab, and he could make you so mad that if Hitler walked through the curtain, you'd pop for him like he was a babyface. That's how good of a talker New Jack was.
That's how good of a talker New Jack was, indeed. Any shows or anything you want to promote before we get into these questions?
No, man, just let's go out there and let's shoot and let's see what people got on their minds.
Sounds good. Kelvin's asking, what was your favorite match in your WWE career?
Well, that's a twofold question. I say any match I had with X-Pac is one of my favorite matches. And then SummerSlam 98, myself, Val Venus, Madison Square Garden, we had 20 minutes to tear up the show. And to this day, it's our favorite match, both of us individually in our career. So
very nice.
Any match with X-Pac and SummerSlam 98.
Awesome. Guillermo's asking, how was it being the first ever Intercontinental champion?
It was surreal. Knowing that it was going to be me who was going to be the first one. And I remember here's how much it impacted me. Sitting back in my hotel room that night, I had a double bed, so it was 2 beds. And I remember laying the Intercontinental European belt on the other bed. I sat in one bed, and I just said, I can't believe those are with me right now. Yeah. So one of probably the single greatest achievement wrestling in my career, one that I'm proud of. And, forever my name is in history. So I can't say much about it other than that. I'm glad it happened to me.
Yeah. And you were, you were 23, 24 at that time?
No, at the time, no, that was not.
That was what, 98?
90, I was 28.
28? Yeah.
Yeah, but I'd only been, don't tell anybody, but I'd only been in the business about 4 years at that point. So, shoosh.
Very nice. Very nice. I mean, just that type of achievement at 28, only in the business for 4 years, basically having two of the biggest, 2 of the mid-card championships, basically, and the legacy that came with the Intercontinental Championship. It was already nearly 20 years old at that time. So yeah, lots of legacy with that.
I mean, let's separate them two. And you say the Intercontinental title. I remember thinking, my name is next to Pat Patterson and Kurt Hennig and Shawn Michaels, and you list all the great Intercontinental champions. I'm
Razor,
right there with
Savage,
them. And on and on and on.
Yeah.
And then the European title. I know Shawn and I had made it a point that was kind of a joke title. It was kind of there, and we wanted everyone that was going to become the workers' belt. That was going to be the belt that you were going to, if the European title was on the line, you were going to have one of the best matches of the night, and that was one of our points of focus, points of emphasis between any one of us who went out there. And it was like, we're going to steal the show, and it's going to be for this belt that a year ago people were laughing at. And when we get done, this belt will have more meaning than before we got it.
Yeah. And there were some classics, man. People sleep with that the European Championship, man. There were some classics there as far as just you having it. Eddie Guerrero, Jericho,
Bulldog, William Regal.
Yep.
I mean, that belt had some Al Snow. That belt had some people hold it, and carry it well. So,
Yeah, absolutely. It was good stuff, man. Let's see here. AJ, did you watch Dark Side of the Ring, the Brawl for All, Owen Hart, New Jack? Did you talk to New Jack before he passed away in May 2021?
New Jack first. I talk to New Jack all the time. We remain friends up until his passing. I'm still friends with his wife. So New Jack was part of my family. He was like my big brother. So yeah, talk to him all the time. And as far as the Dark Side of the Rings, watched every one of them. I love the show. Hint, hint, I can't wait to be back on it again.
Nice.
Give a brother a call.
Very nice. Yeah, I was a huge fan of the Dark Side series. I've watched all of. I'm a sucker for pro wrestling documentaries, anyways. So I love pro wrestling docs, man. I love that history in it. So
I
yeah,
like when you can draw people in and show them the other side. Like I'm big on behind the music, behind the scenes.
yeah,
Like I want to know why a song was written and why it was written that way.
yeah,
So when
yeah,
you get the dark side, you get to pull back the curtain a little bit on wrestling, get to see the people. Maybe not always the best people, but you get to see the people
yeah,
that you cheered for, the character.
yeah. Absolutely. Uh, John said he wished that you can be in the Royal Rumble. Any desire to be in the WWE Royal Rumble? Would you strap up your boots one more time for Royal Rumble surprise entry?
I can tell you, it takes too much to get out of bed right now. It hurts every day. Now, look, I knew exactly what I was trading in when I got into this business, but my time in the sun is has set, and I'm very happy with with my career and the day I had in my career.
Nice, yeah. Elvis is asking, Yo, Dilo, my man, did you enjoy Aces and Eights more than the Nation of Domination? Last time I asked for you to do the head thing, please let's see it again. Dilo for 2023 WWE Hall of Fame. So
Um,
there's a few things there.
yeah,
Enjoying Aces and Eights. So which one did you enjoy more? I'll reword the question: Aces and Eights or Nation of Domination?
without a doubt, it's the nation. I mean, I was there next to my mentor in Ron Simmons, and next to the biggest star on the planet, The Rock, on one side, and then great friends of mine, Mark Henry, and as I call him, Big Perm Godfather. So when you're out there with your boys having fun, and it was the first time for me doing that. So to me, that was the best. Now, don't get me wrong, Ace and H was another great, cool stable with good friends around me,
Mhm.
which was fun. But I mean, when you're in the nation and you're on the biggest show at the hottest time in the history of the business, it's kind of hard to beat.
Yeah,
And as far as the head shake, I'll give you one real quick.
there you go. Very nice. D'Lo for 2023 Hall of Fame. Is there any desire to be in the WWE Hall of Fame?
I mean, you always want to be with the best and the greatest, and I would love to be in the Hall of Fame. I think I'm in the Hall of Very Good. I don't
Mhm.
think I'm a Hall of Famer. I don't think I did it for as long enough, and that's just my opinion. I think could the nation go in, and I go in as part of the nation? Yes, because I think the nation is Hall of Fame worthy. But me by myself, I'm humble when it comes to that. I think I'm in the Hall of Very Good.
Indeed. I 100% agree with you. I think the nation should be in the Hall of Fame. Vince Russo, I have 3 shows with him a
Hmm.
week, and we talk a lot before and after shows. And your name came up, which is one of the reasons why, like, oh, yeah, man, let's I want to talk to him again. It's been a while, and so we were talking about you being in the Hall of Fame, and I was like, man, I think it's criminal that he's not in the hall. And Vince was like, yeah, I mean, like we both agree that D'Lo Brown in some capacity should be in the Hall of Fame, and it's long overdue. So I mean, at this point, I definitely agree that the nation should be in the Hall of Fame. If you were to pick the nation as a faction in the Hall of Fame, who would be the members of the nation? What incarnation of or
Um,
iteration of the nation would be in the Hall of Fame?
it would have to be Ron, Godfather, Mark, Rock, me. I
Okay.
think that's the one that people most associate with.
Hmm.
Um, now, don't get me wrong, I'd love Owen to be in there with us because I love Owen.
Hmm.
And I'm not going to sleep on Savio Vega and Crush.
Hmm.
But I think the one that people um, resonate with is the five that I laid out.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I think sooner than later that 5 should be in the Hall of Fame for sure. Aaron, did you watch Young Rock? And if so, what are your thoughts on the show?
I've watched it a little bit. I think the show is funny and it is what it is. I you know I'm not completely happy with the brother that played me, but hey, uh, I didn't cast him, and good on him for getting the gig. I
Yeah.
know Godfather's quite upset about the character that played him.
Really?
Oh yeah, Yeah.
Speaking of Godfather, he was on Raw 30 yesterday, and
Yes.
Lou was asking why weren't you at Raw 30?
I couldn't answer that.
Hmm.
I really couldn't answer that.
I wonder what the rhyme or reason. Again, Vince and I we talk a lot about this, so we recap Raw every week. Um, but we both theorize as far as just reasons why certain people weren't called. Why do you think you, out of anyone, had a very instrumental part in the during the Attitude Era?
Hmm.
And to me, I mean, that was really the height of the Raw programming. And why wouldn't you get a call from WWE as far as being on the show? So
You know,
I'm not quite sure.
I don't know, and we could say same thing about like a guy like Al Snow, who never gets
Of
brought back at
course.
all, and
Yeah.
was right there with everybody. So
Yeah.
I mean, what
Yeah.
it is what it is, right?
Val Venus,
That,
Rikishi,
yeah,
all of them people were, Scotty Too Hottie, all
yeah.
those were very instrumental parts of Raw.
Hmm.
And they weren't a part of Raw 30, so that was a little odd to me. Thoughts on Aces and Eights? Derek is asking.
I thought Ace and Eights was a really good faction that ended too soon.
Mhm.
I thought it really hit its stride right around, because that was the Sons of Anarchy time, and everyone's into the TV show, and along came Ace and Eights, who was
Mhm.
very much Sons of Anarchy ish, and I loved it. I think it catapulted people up. It lifted Bubba up into a singles career, and to highlight him as a singles guy. And it was a launching point for a lot of guys like Doc Gallows, who was at Ace and
Mhm.
Eights, and obviously now he's part of the Good Brothers. So um, I the faction was cool, and it's one of my favorites.
Was that a Bischoff creation?
That was a Bischoff creation. Funny thing, I wasn't even supposed to be in it.
Hmm.
It was when they were doing the beatdowns and everybody's wearing masks. I was just out there helping the young guys, showing them how to do it.
Mhm.
And this head is hard to hide, so people kind of figured out it was me, and then it just morphed into a storyline to unveil me as part of the group.
Now, I've asked certain people this. I think I've interviewed just about every member of Aces and Eights, if not every member of the Aces and Eights. And I asked this question to just about everybody, and I've had different answers. Was the Aces and Eights? Was there a plan from the beginning, and y'all work from the end backwards, or was it just kind of on the fly in certain weeks, and y'all just landed on, Bubba being the culprit or being the one behind it all?
No, I think the entire thing was built as a vehicle for Bubba from the beginning.
Okay.
So, the intrigue and the story was always led to lead to him.
Okay. Yeah. As far as the people who are in it, that is what was kind of
That
varied, right?
that was on the fly. Yes.
Okay, gotcha. But it all, regardless of who was in it, it all led to Bubba being the one
Being
behind
the
it.
top guy. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, okay. And Hogan's involvement was from the beginning too, as far as him and Bubba and Brooke.
Yeah, I believe.
Brooke
Yeah,
Lesnar.
I believe that was all part of the plan from day
Nice,
one.
nice, nice. Brian is asking if you could wrestle one current WWE superstar, who would it be?
Well, I'd be Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. It's the biggest payoff.
Very nice. Yeah, money guy. That's what I like to
Come
hear.
on, bro. Come on, the main
Absolutely.
event WrestleMania. Come on, me and Roman. Let's go.
There it is, right there. I like it. What's your favorite match with Owen Hart?
Jeez, there's too many to name. I mean, there's just way too many to name. I mean, golly, there's a lot of matches that weren't even televised that were just on house shows that
Mm,
Owen was like a teacher, a mentor. I mean, I've told the story several times that he played the rib on me with my shoelaces. So, I mean, that might be my favorite one looking back on it.
mhm.
But there's too many to name. Owen was just, I mean, we were tied together for a long time, whether it was, you know, Owen and Jeff, um, Owen and Jeff Jarrett, or, I mean, we were just tied together. So
Yeah,
was it the Hart Foundation? We always seemed to come back to each other, and he just did nothing but teach me.
nice. Lil Reaper's asking if you and Al Snow are still in contact.
Yep, just talked to Al not too terribly long ago. Love Al. We were just on a show up in Milwaukee together, Blizzard Brawl, and
Oh,
Yeah.
David Hero.
Yep. Good guy, David Hero.
Yeah.
Really good guy. So yeah, Al and I are still in touch all the time.
Nice. Rollins saying that the lowdown frog splash is legendary. How did D'Lo come with the variation of frog splash? Others been the knees and tuck them in, but D'Lo would keep his legs straight and do the splits in the air. That was an Art Barr tribute.
That was an Art Bar tribute. Art
Yeah.
Bar, because it was Los Gringos Locos, and that was Art Bar and Eddie Guerrero,
Mhm.
and Eddie did the gainer where he tucked, and
Mhm.
Art would do the complete split, and I was like, I like the split.
Yeah. Nice.
Be my finish.
Yeah.
Top rope and start doing it.
Hmm. Yeah, you did very well too. Yeah, it was awesome. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it was a great variation, that's for sure, man. I like both. I like both the tuck and the split. Because
Mm-hmm.
I think that RVD does a really good frog splash as far as the tuck, but there's not many people who does the split, the Art Bar style split. And I
Yeah.
think bringing that back as far as the states, because that was highly popularized in Japan,
Yeah.
when him and Eddie would team up together. And so in they teamed in Mexico too, right?
Yeah, Japan and Mexico, they team together as Los Gringos and
Yeah,
Locos.
yeah. So good stuff. You brought it to the States and did a really good job carrying the torch. So Jason's asking how is it working with Batista in the ring in 2002?
It was good. Batista was really learning a lot at that point, but you could tell he was nothing but just want to absorb the knowledge, and he was
Yeah,
on a path of he's going to go ahead and do great things. So it was cool being on Batista then.
nice. Roland's also asking, see, I love theme music. I'm a sucker for good pro wrestling theme music. I think it's a big presentation. I think pro wrestlers is all about presentation, just like
Hmm.
comic book characters. Your music, your wardrobe, that helps with your presence and your overall branding. And so, Roland thinks that your music was very underrated. Your theme song matched your walk, your attitude, and your head shake taunt. Who was the writer and producer of your theme song?
That was Jim Johnston. He and I sat down, and it was originally for Mark Henry and I's tag team, but
Mhm.
then Mark had branched off, so then he morphed it to just me, and it really just became. I mean, I timed my walk to it, so everything matched up, and I think music is an essential part of the whole presentation of wrestling.
Yeah,
Like, if you think of any iconic wrestler, their the first 2 seconds of their music, you know exactly who's coming through the curtain. I
yeah.
don't care who it is, from the gong or the glass breaking or to the if you can smell. You
Mhm.
you know who that is, and that ties that person and to their music. And I think that record scratch and just that beat and the bass was me.
Yep, yep. The scratch, I knew that there's going to be some head shaking, even if it's just one, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Let's see here. Lou is asking, what happened to Garrett Bischoff and Wes Briscoe?
Both are out of. Wes is still working. Garrett is out of the business, but both are doing very well in their private lives. And I spoke to both of them not terribly long ago because we did the little Ace Saints reunion in Impact about 6 months ago. So
Nice.
that was kind of fun to have those guys around and just sit and talk with them.
Yeah, Garrett's doing a lot of hunting, I think, nowadays.
Garrett does a lot of hunting.
Yeah, yeah. I just spoke to him on the phone a few weeks ago, and
Yeah.
yeah, he's really into hunting nowadays. It's pretty cool, like to see like lives after wrestling and how people were just doing their things. And he's the hunter. So yeah,
Hmm.
it's pretty cool. Who's the current roster? Who on the current roster do you see as the future of WWE?
Uh, I think it's Braun Breaker down in NXT.
Hmm,
Like he's got star written all over him.
yeah,
As soon as he gets the craft down, he's gonna be. I mean, his legacy, his lineage. He's got all the tools. He looks like a star. He talks like a star. I mean, he looks like Rick and talks like Scott. So he's got it down. So I mean, he's got the best of both worlds.
Yeah, absolutely. Braun Breaker. What do you think of that name, honestly?
I think he should be Rex Steiner.
I agree.
He should be Rex Steiner.
Yeah.
Because that's just me.
Yeah. Rex Steiner or Bronson Steiner. Like, I just think, to me, it just makes sense. I understand why people, or why they, want to name people. They just kind of want to break them away from, the history. But I'm just like, look, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean?
If you have a connection to the past, especially if you're second or third generation, they didn't change Randy Orton's name.
Yeah.
They didn't change Charlotte Flair's name.
Exactly. Yep. 100% agree with that. Good stuff. I think we've already talked about your favorite wrestler to work with. I don't to bark. Whose idea was it for you to bark?
When did I bark?
I don't remember you barking. I don't remember. I think
wrong,
you got the wrong
brother. Wrong brother.
I think you got the wrong show there.
That sounds like some private stuff we don't need to hear about.
Yeah. I think you should have kept that from the bedroom.
Yeah, bro. I'm gonna leave that one alone.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yeah, good stuff, man. So what do you have? Let's promote some stuff, man. What anything you got coming up nowadays?
For the most part, if you want to find out what I'm doing, I'm on Twitter at DLoBrown75. I used to be able to say the only verified D'Lo, but now you can buy verification. What's it matter?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But at DLoBrown75, you pretty much can catch up and see anything I'm doing, anywhere I'm going, the places I'm at. I help do a lot of promotion for companies and acquiring talent for guys. So that's pretty much my role right now in the business until I decide to get a job again.
Good stuff. AJ is asking, what do you think of AEW? Why'd you leave Impact Wrestling?
Impact Wrestling was it was time to separate. When you think, you've grown together so long, it was time just to move on and challenge for, other opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
As far as AEW, I like the product. I like AEW. I like watching WWE right now. So I love the fact that there's competition between the two.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me helps make the business better. So I like both products right now.
Yeah. What was the idea behind choosing you and Matt Stryker as the commentary team for Impact?
I want to say that was a Scott D'Amore idea. He just wanted something different, and he wanted that Monday Night Football feel where, you had the ex-jock in me and then the guy who knew the business.
Mm-hmm.
So, I thought it worked. It did well, and people were very receptive to it. So, yeah, I liked it. I like being out there just flapping my gums.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, that was a different role for you. You used to either wrestling or coaching in some way. Now, how was it, or being backstage in a backstage role? How was it, just doing that commentary role, and just being that, like, really your first time doing it from a full-time basis?
Very nerve-wracking, just as nerve-wracking as it would be walking through the curtain, because, instead of now having 12 to 18 minutes, I now have 2 hours to fill.
Right.
And your voice is on everything, and you're now the narrator of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a different type of nervousness, also a different type of, let me try to one up it next week. Let me try, in the competition with yourself begins, like it does when you're in the ring wrestling.
Yeah, that's a good point, because it's interesting. You have your 18 minutes. You have to appease the house, basically, as opposed to millions of people watching. You have to appease them for 2 hours, so it's a whole different ball game. Yeah, and
you got to be cognizant. You can't repeat the same thing over, because if you start getting redundant, then you're a broken record.
Yeah,
you've got about 5 to 7 matches you got to call, and each call has to be different than the last.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, it's like putting together 5 to 7 matches myself in my head and presenting them to the people. And each one has to be completely different. So that there comes the competition.
Yeah. Speaking of Impact, you really had a big role in Impact in its infancy.
Mm-hmm.
Was there any discussions of making you champ?
No, because I think the timing was all off. Because at the time, Jeff Jarrett was a champ, and then a young AJ Styles was coming up.
Yeah.
So it was just it was wrong timing.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed rather my role of being there to help elevate that next guy.
Yeah. You team with Apollo, right?
Yeah, I team with Apollo. We won the NWA World Tag Team titles once.
Yeah.
But yeah, either that or my matches with AJ or with SEX, the group Sports Entertainment Extreme.
Mm-hmm.
There was no talk. I don't think there was any talk of me being champ, but it was just a good time to be there because the company was growing.
Yeah. Last question. We got to take a super chat. Rollin, my man. Please name the top 5 black wrestlers of all time. Good question.
Wow. If I name one, I'm disrespecting every other one. I mean, I could just name you instead of naming them in any specific order. I'll just name you my favorites. Like,
there you go.
Obviously Ron Simmons, top of the list. Junkyard Dog, Ernie Ladd. Guys like that. Those are the ones who crawled, so guys like me can walk, so this next generation can run. So if I were to list them, make a Mount Rushmore, I'd be disrespecting 100 other brothers out there who laid the foundation and allowed me to walk on their backs to stand up. So I can only tell you my favorites, and those are a few.
So you named 3. So you got 2 more that you can think of on the top of your head?
2 more. I get a guy like Butch Reed.
Ooh.
And hell, an entertaining guy like Coco Beware.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Just guys who were entertaining or intimidating or looked the part of the business.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. D'Lo, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did, man. I had a good time, man, and keep making a huge impact on the world of professional wrestling. And hey, look, there's Peacock nowadays for people even in the current generation to see you and your previous matches, and there's still people probably shaking their head somewhere in some elementary and middle schools and high schools, doing the D'Lo head shake, because it's something that will go on in infamy because of footage and all types of Peacock stuff that people can watch. So good stuff, man. I appreciate you being on the show.
I appreciate you being on it, and I can tell you I'm blessed that out of all the wrestlers that have stepped through the ropes, all the hundreds of thousands, somehow I connected with the people, and I'm going to be remembered for the rest of my life, and then as long as it's wrestling. That is pretty cool when you think about it.
100%. Absolutely, man. Thanks again. Have a good night.
All right, bro. Appreciate you. Thank you.